The agenda for this particular session is to let you know what are all the concepts I'll be covering throughout this course, that is Hacker School Certified Cyber Security Professional, provided by Hacker School. So before I begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Kiran. I'll be the instructor for this course. I hold around 7 years of experience in the field of information security, which includes research, development, and teaching. Currently, I'm working in Cortel Software Private Limited. From the perspective of certifications, I'm certified in CH, certified SOC analyst, Red Hat certified system administrator, certified network defender, certified EC Council instructor, certified incident handler, certified penetration testing professional, and computer hacking forensic investigator. Now, before we discuss about the main content, first let us understand about cyber security. What is cyber security? Cyber means group of computers or the networks. Security means safeguarding, protecting the information. Cyber security defines the way of protecting information from any sort of malicious attack. As we are in 21st century, everything is life is connected to electronic device. We are slowly shifting towards digitalization, like online payment, Google transaction, phone pays, all part of digitalization. Again, one of the major threats related to digitalization is the cyber attacks. Now, according to the blog report provided by one of the website, so here you have the details about the cyber attacks that are happening across the globe per day in 2024. Like as you can see, by 2025, the cybercrime will cost the world around like 10.5 trillion yearly. The entire cost of cyber attack in 2022 was $6 trillion. 95% of the data breaches are due to the human errors. 30,000 websites are being compromised on a daily basis. 64% of the companies have already experienced one form of cyber attack. In 2021, the 22 billion informations are being breached. In 2021, ransomware cases grew by 92%. Email is responsible for delivering 94% of the malware. Every 39 seconds, there is some new attacks happening on the web. On a daily basis, 24,000 malicious applications are blocked. Now, one should know how to protect the information. Let it be an individual or the organization, the top priority has to be given to the cyber security. In this course, you'll be having 23 chapters. Today, I'll be explaining you about overview of each chapter. Now, this course will be covering concepts related to certified ethical hacking. Now, what is ethical hacking means? Gaining unauthorized access with the permission of the owner. Now, if you might be familiar with the hacking terminology. So, hacking refers to gaining unauthorized access without the permission of the owner, means gaining access to the devices. So, now in this course, we'll be discussing about the CH version 13 content powered by artificial intelligence. We'll be covering concepts related to certified penetration testing professional CPET. Now, CPET is a process of compromising the target. So again, there is some few difference related to CH and CPET. Like in CH, you will not be in ethical hacking, you will not write the report. Whereas in CPET, you will be writing the report, and also we'll be discussing of certified SOC analyst related content. So this course is a combination of basics to the advanced level. So here you will be learning some basics of, if you are new, you don't know what is network, what is Linux. So here you will be learning on that. You'll be learning CH concepts with CPENT concept, and also you'll be learning the CSA related concept. So this course is a combination of three courses, and also with that you learn some basic to the advanced concept. Now without any further delays, let us start with the chapter 1. So that is introduction to cyber security. In this chapter, you'll understand about what is cyber security, why it is important. Now, as I said, we are in digitalization era. We need to protect the asset. To protect the asset, we need to deploy the security. Again, in cyber security, we'll use various terminologies like confidentiality, integrity, authenticity. For example, confidentiality refers to only authorized person can access the data. Means you can only access the data. Now, if you have saved any data in Gmail, Google Drive, you should be able to access. That is what we call confidentiality. So in this chapter, we'll be discussing about theoretical part. So this course is practical oriented sessions. Means 70% of the sessions will be done on the practicals. You learn the concept via the practicals. Now, if you are having any questions at this point, either you can type in the chat in your Zoom meeting, or you can unmute your mic and you can speak. Let me know any questions, audience, till this point. Any doubts you carry till this point? Or you can type one so that I'll proceed. Audience, any questions you have?
No, no, sir, no questions. You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you, thank you. At any point of time, if you have any questions, man, so without any hesitations, please let me know on that. Okay.
Okay.
Linux essential. So in order to perform ethical hacking, so we require certain tools. Now, for example, why we need tools means, now let us take, I need to perform some password attack, or I need to compromise the target, or I need to create a malicious script. For that, we require those tools. Now, all the tools that are required for ethical hacking, penetration testing, so all that is available in the Linux system. So in this chapter, you will be understanding about Linux operating system. Again, in Linux, we have multiple distribution. So in that, we mainly use the Kali Linux operating system. You might be wondering why Kali Linux, why not other operating system? As I told, now, in ethical hacking or penetration testing, we'll first collect the information about the target. So, we'll check for the loopholes, that is misconfiguration, flaws, and then we compromise the target. Again, to do that, so to gather the information, to check for the vulnerability, to do some password attack, to do some Wi-Fi cracking, to do some social engineering. So we require tools. All the tools are pre-installed in this Kali Linux. For that, you need to understand, learn about Kali Linux operating system. So in this chapter, I'll be explaining you about the Linux command prompt. Now, when you are working with the Windows, for example, let us take, you want to install an application like VLC player. You'll go to the official website, you will download the file and you will install. But whereas in Linux, majority of the activity will be done via the command prompt. Now, once I run this command, apt install VLC, now here you can see it is installing the package there. Once I give S, now the package will be installed. So in this chapter, I'll explain you some basics Linux command, how to install the package. The continuation of the chapter is Linux administrator. So here we'll focus on file system. Now if you are wondering what is that file system in, how the files are organized. Now if I just go to my computer, let me take my computer. In that you can see C drive, D drive. Again in C drive we have multiple directories. In that we'll have subdirectory. So same way here also. So we'll be having multiple direct. Now if I just go that, so if I just go to the command that is ls. So now let me go to the file system. If I go to file system, it all starts with a forward slash. Inside that you can see there are multiple directory. Now for example, if you have connected any pen drive to your Linux, it will be there in this media directory. So here we'll understand various directories that are available in Linux operating system. Next, we'll be discussing about process management. Now, if I type PSAUX, so these are all the processes that are running. Now, the same thing you want to do in Linux, Windows means you need to go to Task Manager. So there you can get the details about the process. So how to manage the process, we'll be discussing on that. Next, we'll be exploring about some of the important activities like how to set file permissions. Now, every file that we are creating which will be having a permissions like read write execute. So here we'll understand about file permission, how to create an partition in your hard disk. So partition is a process of dividing physical drive into logical segment. Now here you can see I have an hard disk of 80 GB. A partition has been created. So here we'll explore on how to create the partition. So these two chapters will help you out to understand about Linux operating system. And again, no worries. If you are new to Linux, completely will start from the scratch. So I'll explain you all the necessary Linux command. So once you are done with this two chapter, you'll get an complete idea about how to work with a Linux operating system. Any questions you have?
No, sir.
If you have any questions without any hesitations, you can communicate with me either in the chat or you can unmute your mic and you can speak. Networking fundamentals. Network refers to two or more devices connected together to share information is what we call it as network. The entire world is interconnected, so that is why we are able to communicate. So in this chapter we'll understand about network, types of network, networking device like routers, switches, how they will operate, what is IP addressing. Now for example, if I ask what is your identity, your identity might be Aadhaar card, PAN card number, like same way for a system that is connected to the internet, the identity will be the IP address. Now, if I just type what is my IP address in the browser, here you can notice my IP address is my IP address, my identity is 116.75.115.152. Again in IP addressing, we have two versions IPv4, IPv6. So here we'll understand about the addressing scheme, how to assign the IP address to the system. Next, we'll be discussing about protocols. Protocols refers to set of rules which governs the communication. Now, for example, if I want to send a mail to you, it involves a protocol. Now we are all connected using Zoom meeting, right? It involves a protocol, means communication is done with the help of protocol. Each and every communication will have a protocol. So here we'll understand about protocol, network reference model like OSI, TCP, IP model. All the concepts related to the networking we'll understand with the help of Cisco packet tracer. So this is a tool through which you can create the network topology and you can configure them just like in real time. Now basically in an organization you'll have a router followed by you'll have a layer 2 device which is switch, Then you might be having personal computers, laptops, servers. Now, all these devices are connected using wired connection or wireless connection. So, here I am taking wired connection. Again, if the devices wants to communicate means it requires an IP address. Now, let me assign the IP address to the system one, and I'll assign the IP address to my server also. So let me assign the IP address to the server. Now once I have assigned, now if I just take this message, let me send from system to the server. Now as you can see, so initially it is filed. Now again let me try to send the packet. As you can see, now it is successful. So again, why Cisco packet tracer means you can create a topology like this. You can see how a communication is happening. When a communication is happening, what information it is carrying, how the packets will be traveled, so how that data will be received by the target, what information you have, what is this IP address, what is MAC address, what do you mean by protocol, how to configure virtual private network in the organization. All that concept we'll be discussing in this chapter, that is networking fundamentals. Any questions till here?
No, sir.
Okay. So I hope you're getting the idea about the all the concepts. Next is network security. Now, in order to protect, safeguard the information, the organization will be deploying multiple security mechanisms like firewalls, intrusion detection system which protects from the attacks, so intrusion prevention systems, honeypot. Now if you take a firewalls, so firewalls which acts like a security guard which monitors incoming and outgoing traffic. So based on the rules whatever you have configured, so it will either allow the traffic or block the traffic. Now for example, if you are wondering what is that firewall mean, now let me take a browser. In that browser, here I'll try to access a web page. Now, for example, I'll access a web page, Altera Mutual. Now, here if I click on that, I can access this web page. Now, let us take, I want to block this web page from accessing. Now, where I need to create the rules means in the firewall. So, again, to create the rule, so here I'll just write a rule IP tables followed by hyphen a, that is to append followed by where I want to append the rule. So here anything sending to port 80, drop that means I've just created one rule. Now once I have created, if I try to access this time, if I load this page, you can notice it is not loading. Let me copy and again try to paste that link. It is, see, it is not loading. So now basically, so I have blocked that. Where I have blocked in the firewall, I have created a rule in the firewall. I am able to block the traffic. So in this chapter, we'll understand how to configure firewall in Linux, how to configure firewall in Windows system, how to configure IDS with the help of Snot. So here I'll show you the deployment of the Snot, which is an intrusion prevention system. And finally, I'll be showing you with the honeypot. Honeypot is a trap. Now, in your homes, if you want to catch a rat, you will use rat trap. So same way in organization to catch the cyber criminal, we'll be using the honeypot. So here we'll be discussing about how you need to be configuring the honeypot to capture the cyber criminals. Now the first 5 chapters will be the basic foundation for your cyber security course. So by this, you'll able to get a good idea. You'll have a good foundation so that you can perform the ethical hacking penetration testing concept in an easier way. Any questions?
No, sir.
Super. Vulnerability assessment and management. Vulnerability refers to security flaw. Now, what is that means? Now let us take in your phone you have the password protection. If you are not enabling that, that is a loophole, vulnerability. Now again you have enabled that and you have given a password as 1234. So by that what happens? For an hacker it takes very less time. Now how secure is my, if I just go to a website, how secure is my password? This website will test. So how secure is my password? Now let us take, in your phone you are configuring a password like 1234. Within a second I can destroy that, means I can get that if I am just giving any predictable things. So here it would take a computer 200 nanosecond to crack, means a loopholes will be there. If you are not doing a proper configurations, loopholes will exist. Now how you need to identify the loophole, that is what vulnerability assessment and management. So in this first chapter, first I'll explain you about how to research about previously discovered vulnerability. Now, a Windows will have a loophole, every device will have a loop. So that loopholes information is saved in this database called CV details. Now, if I just type show vulnerabilities related to the Windows 11 operating system, let me take Windows, so followed by space 11. Now here I have, so Microsoft Windows 11. So there are 580 vulnerabilities are discovered. Now this is the vulnerability and here you have the CVSS score. Again it is represented in a numerical format ranging from 1 to 10. So here we'll understand about how to do research about vulnerability, and next we'll be discussing about the how to perform vulnerability scan with the help of tools. So here I'll be showing you various tools like Nessus. Nessus is considered as one of the best tool that is adopted in majority of the organization. So here I'll explain you about how to install, configure through that, how you can perform vulnerability scanning on the network. Not only this tool, we'll also use other tools like OpenMask. Through that, I'll be demonstrating you how you can find loopholes, vulnerabilities in the organization. So now, here in this chapter, we'll mainly focus on network loopholes. Related to web application pen testing, we have a separate module. We'll discuss more in that module. Any questions, audience?
No, sir.
So, from now onwards, if you have any questions, so you please, without hesitation, you can come up with the doubts. Okay. So, this demo session is mainly for clear out your doubts. Okay. So, make sure if you have any doubts, so you just get the clarification related to that. So network penetration testing. Now what is penetration testing? Why penetration testers are required? Now let us take this web page or let us take our official web page. Now during the development time, during the coding, something might have gone wrong. Some misconfiguration might exist. Who will identify that misconfiguration? Let us take during the deployment time, some misconfiguration might exist. We'll identify that misconfiguration. So that is where ethical hackers penetration tester comes into play. Now here the ethical hackers, they will do the test, they will not give you the report, means they will not give the exact detailed report how exactly the attack is done, everything. In the penetration testing, we'll give the proper report how the attack is done, how we are able to get access, everything. So now to test any platform, we require the penetration tester. Now in this chapter, you will be understanding about what is pen testing, types of pen testing. So again, in penetration testing, the first step is information gathering. Then we'll check for loopholes, compromise the target. Now for example, let us say I want to conduct penetration testing on my network. Now here I am belonging to the network 192.168.1.0. The first thing is that I'll perform in my network which are all the systems that are alive. Now as you can see there are multiple systems. There are 5 to 6 systems are up. Now in this 5 to 6 system, I'll choose a target. Now for my instance, I'll choose the target as 192.168.1.5. On that system, I'll first gather the information. Again to gather, I'll do some scan. Now here I am able to find the target multiple services are on. In that services, I'll just take one service like FTP. So I need to again collect more information about the FTP which is running on port number 21, and here I'll enable version detection scan. Now as you can notice, it is running with the version VS, very secure file transfer protocol 2.3.4. So once we have gathered the information, now in this information gathering, we have lots of tools. So here I cannot demonstrate you. So we have more than 10 to 15, 20 tools. So that we will be discussing in the class. Now, the next thing, we need to see any sort of vulnerabilities that are existing related to FTP vs FTP service. Now, here I'm just performing some script scan. Through that, I'm identifying any vulnerability. It is saying, yes, there is a vulnerability which can be exploitable, compromised. You'll get an root access to the device. Now again to compromise that, so here I'll be utilizing Metasploit framework console. So first thing, I'll just search for any scripts related to VSFTP, VSFTP. Now once I search, so here I'll able to locate the script. Now here I have a script. Let me load this script into my Metasploit framework. Now once I have loaded the script, next, I need to configure the options. Now here I need to set the target details. So here I'll just set the target details as 192.168.1.5. That is my target IP. Once I have set, here I'll just perform the exploit. Now if the target is vulnerable means, here you can see I got the shell access means I got the remote shell to the system. So now if I give IP space A, now you can see that I have the access of that target. Now in these steps, if you carefully observe, first I have gathered the information, then I have checked for the loopholes, then I have compromised the target. Once I have compromised the target, next I'll check what privilege I have. So whether I have regular user account, administrative user account, I'll check with that. In case if I have regular user account, again we need to escalate the privileges. So here I'll explain you about privilege escalations related to Linux, Windows operating system. Next, what exactly here I have done means, so here I have just compromised this system. So here from my Kali Linux, I have compromised this Metasploitable 2. From this system, how we can compromise the server. From this server, how I can compromise the client, which is comes under the concepts like pivoting, double pivoting. So in this course, you will be learning about all this concept. First, I'll explain you how to gather the information. Now, let us take, I want to gather the information related to the email address. So I'll just visit to this website. Let me verify the steps. Now once I have verified, if I give email here, I'll just enter any email address. So now based on the email address, so I'll be able to get the information. Now their name, address, where they are residing, previous address, their phone number, each and everything I'm able to get. So that is what we call information gathering. Again, to do that, we have multiple ways. Here I'll show you that how you need to exploit, compromise the target in an automated way, how to perform password cracking related to the targets. So in the exploiting, in compromising, the one which I have showed is manual automated means via the tool I got the access. So via the manual way, how you can gain access to the system. Once you gain access, how to escalate the privilege, how you need to do pivoting, double pivoting, so how you need to perform the other post activity, all that will be covered in these two chapters. And finally, I'll explain about report writing. Any questions?
No, sir.
Yeah. Cryptography. Now, in this digitalization era, we are secured because of cryptography. How means you might be using phone pay. Is phone pay secure? Do you agree? Is phone pay is secure? WhatsApp is secure? Is Google Pay is secure? Online transaction is secure? Do you agree with this?
For some extent, it
Okay.
is secure.
For some extent it is secure. Now, whatever the extent you have agreed, so that is because of cryptography. Because of cryptography only, the data is secure. So cryptography is a process of converting the plain text to cipher text. Plain means readable format, cipher means unreadable format. So again, in this cryptography we have multiple techniques like symmetric, asymmetric encryption. And again, so to save the confidential data, we'll be using hashing algorithm. So in this chapter, we'll understand various terminologies related to cryptography, why cryptography is important. Now again, if I take a website here, here you can see connection is secure. Why? Because of encryption. What is that encryption? What is that decryption? All that we'll be exploring in this chapter. And finally, I'll explain you about steganography. Steganography is a process of hiding secret data within an ordinary file. Now, for example, if I just go to my computer in the D drive, let me take one steganography file. Now, if you observe carefully here, now we have an image file. From the outer edge, it looks like an normal image. But inside this image file, if I just open that with the WinRAR application, so there is an hidden content, means machine.jpg, secret PDF, secret2.pdf, means inside this image file, there are multi files that are hidden, which we call it as steganography. So here we'll understand various concepts that revolves under the steganography. Yeah. Active Directory basics. Now, when it comes to the organization, we'll be mainly utilizing client server architecture, where the server will control all the activity related to the client. Now, again, in order to install that server, means in order to create the client server setup, we need to be utilizing server operating system. In this chapter, I'll be explaining about Windows Server Operating System. You might have experienced about client operating systems like the Windows 10, Windows 11. So same way we have server operating system. Through this server operating system, we can control the client. Now you might be wondering why we require this server. Now in organization, we have hundreds of employees. Now, what the employees can do, who can access what files he can do access, what he cannot do access, what restriction does the user has, what he can do, what he cannot do, all that can be centralizedly configured with the help of Active Directory service. Again, to create an client server architecture, you need to install this Active Directory domain service. In whichever the system you install Active Directory domain service, that is what we call domain controller. Domain controller stores information about the user. Now this is my server, and here you can see I am created a domain controller that is called kingsnew.com. So in this domain, via this DC, I can control hundreds of clients in my organization. Now, in this chapter, first I'll explain you about the what is Active Directory. So again, to create client server architecture, we require Active Directory. How to create this domain network setup. Next, again, when it comes to authentication, so your Active Directory uses Kerberos authentication mechanism, how it should be done. Next, we'll be discussing about how to conduct penetration testing on a client server architecture. Basically, here you can see I have the server. So to this server, we'll join the client. On that client, how you need to do pen testing activity means how you can compromise the client, how you can compromise the server via the client, how you can get access to the server, how to do privilege escalation on client server architecture. All that concept we'll be learning here. Again, this concept will be advanced topic, so which we will not be covering in the CH, but in this course CSP we'll be covering this concept. Any questions, audience?
No, sir.
Yeah. Cyber security compliance. Now, in order to protect, safeguard the information, the organizations will be following certain set of rules, which we call it as compliance. Now, in your Corona days, so if you remember, we used to follow the rules set by the government of India, wearing a mask, sanitization, everything. Same way the organization to protect their data, they have to follow the rules which is set by third party organization. Now for example, we have phone pay. Now phone pay basically stores credit card, debit card information. Anyone handling credit card, debit card information, they have to follow the standards like PCI DSS standards, which stands for Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. These are the third party organization who will give you some rules how to store the card holders data, how to protect the card holders data. All that will be saved. They will be giving the guidelines. So here we'll discuss about various standard organization body like we have NIST Cybersecurity Framework, International Organization for Standardization. To protect the health informations, we use IPA standards. To protect the privacy of an user, we use GDPR standard. To protect the financial data, SOX Act will be there. So here we'll discuss about various standards, why we need to implement this in the organization, what is the advantage of these standards, all that we'll be discussing in this chapter. Web fundamental. Now web application plays an very important role for any organization. Now majority you know about hacker school because of our website. Protecting an website is a very important task. Why means a web application might be having multiple vulnerabilities. Now, for example, if I just give in the URL, I'll just search for admin login pages. Now, here you can see there are multiple admin login pages. So, let me open some admin pages. Now, so here I need to enter the username and the password. Now, if I just give anything here, so if there is wrong credential, it will give me error. Now again, if this website is vulnerable for SQL injection means, so I can inject some malicious query, and if this website is vulnerable, you can see I'm able to log in. So here also you can see if I just inject some malicious query, if these websites are vulnerable, so there you can see I'm able to log in. Means a website will have lots of vulnerability. Now in this chapter, we'll be discussing about the web application vulnerability, how you can exploit. Now for example, if I just take Altero Mutual, so now let me access this Altero Mutual. Now again, you can see here we have search bar. In the search bar, we need to enter some authentic search. Based on that, we'll get the result. Now, if this website is vulnerable to the cross-site scripting attack means, now here what I'll do, I'll inject some iframe means I'll just embed an HTML file inside an HTML file means you can see I've added my hacker school web page into this web page itself. Or else if I click on sign in, now here I need to enter the username. In place of that, I'll enter the SQL injection query. Through that, I can log in. A website will have lots of OOPs. So in this chapter, we'll understand about various web application vulnerabilities, how to exploit. So here we'll also discuss about, just a second. Sorry for that. So now here OAS stands for Open Web Application Security Project. What is this means? It is a standard book followed by the developers. In this book, they will be giving you the top 10 vulnerabilities related to web application. Like here you can see on the screen. Now in this course, we'll be discussing about this top 10 loopholes, how to exploit them. Now again, when it comes to web application, pen testing or web application hacking, we mainly utilize a tool called as burp-suite. Now here, if I just go to the web application analysis, here I have the tool burp-suite. With the help of burp-suite, whatever the request we'll be sending to the server, we'll be able to capture all that request, and you can also do modification related to that request. Through that, you can perform the attacks. Now, for example, let me initiate my proxy and I'll just try to access my Facebook login page. I'll just take Facebook. I'll take the login page. Now, here I'll just enter some username and password. Now, whatever the request I'll be sending, so now I can intercept that request in my burp suite. Can you see? So, a request is sending to facebook.com. What is that request? Here you have. So, it is facebook.com that is related to login. Now, we can do some modification. The email ID is this. So, you can just do the modification and the once you click on forward here, so it will be forwarding to the server. Now we'll be able to get the details means email address or mobile number not phone means I'm just demonstrating how you can do means edit the request everything. So in this chapter we'll be first understanding about web fundamental means what is website, what is server side programming language, client side programming language, how the database is connected, how to host a web page, how to perform vulnerability scanning on an website. The continuation of this is web application pen testing, where you will be understanding about top 10 vulnerabilities related to website, how to exploit the web application, how to compromise the website, how to bypass the authentication, how you can get sensitive data from the website, so how to use burp suite, all that we'll be exploring in this chapter. Any questions?
No, sir.
Bug bounty secret. Now bug refers to loopholes. Now if you identify a loophole, certain organization will give you the bounty. Bounty means reward. Now for example, if I just go to the website SV Can Act, now they are conducting some bug bounty program. So here you can notice, let me copy the link here. Now here you can notice there are multiple bug bounty programs they are conducting. Now here you have daily motion. So again if I just click on that, so daily motion public bug bounty. If you identify a bug related to daily motion, okay, it is an video broadcasting advertisement platform. Okay. So if you identify any vulnerability, they will pay 3,000 euros. Now, what you need to do, you need to see. So this is the web page, dailymotion.com. You need to just, so if you find any bug related to this dailymotion.com website name, so they will be giving you 3,000 euros. Okay. So you need to find and you need to give a report related to that. So here in this chapter, we'll discuss how to do that, bug bounty programs, how to find bugs, how to report that. That we'll discuss here. Mobile application, IoT, and cloud security. When it comes to emerging technology, one major emerging technologies are mobile, next is IoT, and also cloud. Now, in this chapter, I'll be demonstrating you how to compromise the mobile device, Android devices, how you need to create malicious application, how to install that, and how to get access. And also, we'll be demonstrating you about some malware like, yeah. So how to install some monitoring solution, through that how you can monitor the devices. Now here, if you install this monitoring solution, you can monitor to the surrounding, listen to the phone call, spy on the contact, monitor the chat, internet activity. So here we'll discuss about how to implement spyware, through that how you can spy on the user activity. The next is IoT, Internet of Things, things that are controlled via the internet. The best example is smartwatches. Now, how you can compromise that IoT devices? Now, again, if I want to search for IoT devices, I need to come to this website, shodan.io. Now let us take, for example, I'll search for a IoT device like webcam XP. Means I'm just searching for surveillance cameras related to the vendor's webcam XP. Now here you can see I'm able to locate 516 cameras. Or now India, one of the major surveillance camera manufacturers are CP Plus. Now let me search for the CP Plus device. As you can notice, I am able to locate 22,000 CP Plus cameras. Now again, if I want to access, so I'll just open that in the new tab. Let me see. So it takes some time. So now here you can see I am able to access the web page. So again, it is a dangerous site. Now here you can see I'm able to access the CP Plus camera, but it is password protected. Here if you can see that. So again, few devices will not be protected with password. Now if I just give in URL, yeah. So now if I just search for the devices here, now here you can see I might get locate some cameras. See here you can see. So here we will discuss on how you need to gain access to the surveillance cameras, all of that. Next we'll be focusing on cloud. Now cloud refers to remote server. Now earlier days, if you want to store any data, we need to use pen drives or memory cards. Now, if you want to store the data, you will store in a remote server, that is the Google Drive. Or else, now earlier, if you want to use create an presentation, we used to MS Office. Now, same MS Office is hosted in the remote server. Just if you have login credential, you can just log in and you can access. Means the software is no need to install in local system. It is available in the server, just you need to access via the internet. So now again, when it comes to cloud, one of the major cloud service providers are AWS, Amazon Web Service. In this chapter we'll be covering on how to work with the AWS interface, how to host operating system in the AWS, how to perform attacks with the help of AWS. So we'll be discussing on that particular aspects. Any questions, audience?
No, sir.
Social engineering and Wi-Fi security fundamental. Social engineering refers to act of convincing the end user in order to retrieve the sensitive information. Now you might have received a link. So please click on a link to claim 1 lakh rupees. If you click on a link, you might be redirected to a phishing page, a cloned web page. Now, for example, let me show you the live demonstration of that phishing, how to clone an phishing web page. So again, here in order to perform this, so I'll just open my browser first. So let me access one web page. Now here I'll try to access a web page, evalue.net. It's not working. Super fine. Let me take alteromutual.com. So here I'll just try to clone this login page. So again, to clone that, I'll copy the link. So in order to clone, I'll just use social engineering toolkit. So in that, I'll just select few options. So in this session, I'll explain you what is this option, everything. So okay, entire detail, I'll explain you on that. Now once it is done, the web page is cloned. Now just I need to share the link with the target. So if you just clicks on that link, you'll get a web page which looks similar to the authentic. This is authentic page. This is phishing page. Now what is the worst part here is that if he enters any credentials here, if he provided any credential, if he has logged into that, so now there you can see it is redirected to the same page. But the information will be posted back to the attacker. So here we'll be discussing on how you need to host an phishing website. Through that, how you can retrieve sensitive data. The next is Wi-Fi fundamentals. Now you might be using Wi-Fi in your homes. So in this chapter, we'll explore about Wi-Fi technology and we'll mainly focus on Wi-Fi password crackings like WEP, WPA, WPA2. Again, if you are very much interested in Wi-Fi password crackings, means you need to purchase this alpha Wi-Fi adapter. So using this adapter only, I'll be demonstrating you about password cracking. Now you might have a question, sir, why we require this? Through this device, you can capture the traffic, you can inject the Wi-Fi traffic. For all that reason, so you need to make sure that, so you need to have that device. So this is on Wi-Fi fundamentals. Any questions?
No, sir.
Scripting basic or penetration testing. Now, as an cybersecurity professional, is it necessary to learn programming language? What do you think? Yes or no?
Like for an higher level, you should learn any
So for
program.
higher level, you should have a knowledge on program. Yeah, that is correct. Okay. Now, my answer will be no. But if you know, it will be an added advantage to your career. So why means now let us take you want to travel from Bangalore to Hyderabad. You can use public transport. If you know how to drive your own car, you can drive by yourself. Same way, if you know how to write your own script, you can write your own scripts. So again, whether it is very much important means no. But if you know means definitely it will help you out. So what programming we need to learn? So again, there are lots of thousands of programming language. So in that, the top two widely used programming language is Python. So why Python means it is easy to use. Now for example, let us take I want to write a program in Java to print hello world. So at least it will take 3 lines to write the program. Now the same thing, for example, so if I just take, so now for example, if I just start the Python, now if I just give print followed by, so I'll just give hello world. I'll just make that. So here you have hello world. Now there you can see it is done. So here we'll understand on Python programming language, and also we'll be discussing about bash scripting. Now, why we need bash scripting means if you want to automate the process of Linux commands, we will be using bash scripting. So here we'll discuss about bash scripting also, how to use script means how to create a shell script, through that how you can automate your penetration testing activity. So we'll be discussing on that also. Now the next chapter will be covering concepts related to certified SOC analyst. In that, first we'll be discussing about threat intelligence. Now, what is threat intelligence? Analyzing the current threat. Now, for example, if I just visit the website called Alien Vault, now in this website you will be getting the latest threat. What are all the latest threat related to organization? Analyzing the correct threat and identifying in future what type of attacks might happen on the organization is what we call threat intelligence. So basically threat intelligence is a research, how you need to research about the latest cyber threats. So what is the impact of such cyber threat? So again, if I just click on this coin miner, so here you have some information related to this thread. What exactly is this thread? All of that. Now again, if I just click on any of the details, so here you can see this is related to impacting multiple medical facilities. Now legal, healthcare, educations are targeted from this attack. This is a type of malware, it is called Trojan. Okay, so this is a comes under the family Trojan. Now here we'll understand about various security threats, how you need to be analyzing that, how to do research, how to perform threat intelligence. And also we'll learn about indicators of compromise. Means if a device is compromised, there will be indication. Now for example, my device is compromised by malware, means my system performance will slow down, so my system might be rebooting multiple time. Pop-ups might appear. So there will be certain indication. What are all the indications of compromise? So that we'll explore in this chapter, which is threat intelligence. Security operation fundamental. Now, in order to protect the information, one of the security feature which we commonly deploy in the organization is the monitoring solution. Now, for example, let us take you are stuck in traffic jam. The timer is set for 500 seconds. There is no surveillance, there is no policing, there is no monitoring. At that point, what you will do? Will you wait for the signal or will you jump? What's your plan of action?
Maybe wait for the signal.
Okay, so you are more authentic. Okay, now in this scenario too, the same traffic jam, 500 seconds, but this time we have policing, proper monitoring. At that point, what we will do? So definitely we'll wait for the signal. Okay, so otherwise we need to pay lots of money as a fine. So in the first scenario, there is no monitoring. If there is no monitoring, so attackers might perform attack, will not come to know that. So again, to identify that, we need to do monitoring. We need to do monitoring related to logs. Means whatever the activity you do in the system. Now if I just come to my directory slash where slash log, so here you can see we have various logs. Means if I use cat followed by boot log, so here you can see during system starting, what are all the logs are created, we'll get the information. Same way in the Windows also. So if I just go to my computer, in that if I just go to the manage section there. So now let me open that. Now, if I just go to the computer management, in that we have event viewer. Now, whatever the activities related to the operating system, so related to the security, so all that we'll be able to get the information. Now, if you observe that for each and every activity, a log will be created. That logs will be stored in the event viewer. So every device is capable of creating the logs. So again, each logs will have different set of information. So here we'll discuss about the log format. Now here if you see, we have multiple log information. A account was successfully logged in. Means someone has logged into the system. Who is that? System entity authority. Means a log will have detail. So in this, we'll understand about log information related to Linux, Windows, firewall logs, all of that. Now the problem here is that in organizations will not have one or two devices. We'll have hundreds of devices. Hundreds of devices will generate lakhs of logs. Lakhs of logs. Again, if I want to get logs means I cannot go to every system and collect the log. For that, we'll make the process as centralized. Means whatever the logs that are being generated by the end device, all will be pushed, collected, analyzed on a centralized login server. So this process is achieved with the help of security information event management tool. Again, there are multiple SIM tools that are available in the market. In that, the one tool is IBM Curator. So in this chapter, you'll be exploring about IBM Curator, how to work with the IBM Curator, what are all the options that are available with IBM Curator. Now, if I just go to log activity, now as you can see, whatever the logs that are triggered in my organization, I'll be able to get all the logs. Now let us take in the last 1 hour, I want to check which are all the users are logged into my IBM Curator. Now I'll just apply, see, I'll just go to, so we show all the 3 hours log. So from 3:51 to 6:51, so that is based on the system time. Here I have the logs. Now again in this log, I want only logs related to user login. Now if I click on that, now there if I apply the filter, now there you can see user like admin when he is logged in at what time 6:50, so 5:26 he is logged in this time. So now here we are able to get the information. Means whatever the activity that is happening, all that logs will be centralizedly collected and it will display the information here. In this, so I'll explain you about how to search for a specific log. Now as I said, if I want to get user login, you need to apply the filter and the search. Again in search, there are two ways, graphical and also you can enter the query like select star from events. So if I just enter the search, so with the Arial query language, I'll able to get all the logs that are being generated in the last 15 minutes. So here I'll explain you how to search the logs, how to apply the filter. Not only logs, whatever the communication that is taken place in my organization, all that communication information will be available in the network activity. Now here if you can observe that 10.0.0.202 device communicating with a target 1.1.1.1 on port number 53 which is DNS port. Now let us take one of the employees watching YouTube video or one of the employees accessing Instagram. Where you'll get that information means in the network activity. Whatever the communication that takes place, so here you will get. Now again in that communication. Now for example, if I take last 15 minutes communication means, so there you can see 2018 packets are there. Now again in this 2018 packet, all are not important. I want to only check communication that is made by the source IP 10.0.0.1 means I need to apply the filter. Once I apply, there you can see we have 263 items. And again I want to see only communication made to the port 137 if I apply. Now there you can see I am getting 182 result. How to apply this search? Now the main thing why we implement this security solution means in order to identify the attack. Now let us take, so somebody has performed malware attack. So this device will identify the attack, which we call it as offenses. Now here you can see virus has been detected, login failure has been happened. Again, if I just click on that, so login failure followed by success to the same destination. If I click on that 92 events, so why this login file occurs, let us see. As you can see, so multiple login failure has been happened. So using various credential, multiple failures has happened, but he has able to accept means the server has accepted the password or a username oracle accepted the password means, so a user has performed some password attack on my linux server 192.168.13.13. After some attempt he is able to get the access. So if any attack is happened, we need to identify, investigate the attack. So how we need to identify, investigate the attack? Again, to identify that we need to write the rule. So here I'll explain you about rule writing. Now one of the common tasks related to the SOC analyst is the report writing. So here if you observe that there are multiple reports that are written. Like here I have just created a report related to filed logins. So here you can see QRadar logins. So there are multiple reports that are available. So here I'll explain you about how to create your own set of reports related to QRadar login. Now you can see on March 1, 2015, so who are all the users are logged into my QRadar. So here you have the complete report, the users who are logged into my QRadar. So here we'll discuss about this tool called IBM QRadar. So now the next chapter is security operation with Splunk. So when it comes to SIM tool, one we use IBM QRadar. Another widely utilized tool is the Splunk. In this chapter, we will be discussing about this Splunk. So here I'll show you how to install this Splunk, how to get logs to your Splunk server. Next, we will be discussing about the interface, how to do the search related to logs, how you need to generate the report, how to write a rules in order to identify the attacks. Now, till what level we'll discuss this Splunk related concept means for getting L1 job rule, till that part we'll be discussing the concepts. So once you are done with the course, you can apply for L1 SOC analyst job position. And the last chapter of this is enterprise security solutions. So in this, we'll be discussing about the endpoint detection and response solution, which is the EDR solution. Now, in order to, what is EDR solution means? So in organization, one of the important tasks is that we need to protect the endpoint. So let me first log in. So once you have logged in to your endpoint, EDR security solution, so now there you can see. So if any malware is been identified, if any threats has been identified, so we can easily get that information. Now in my organization, so I have connected three device endpoints. Okay, all are Windows operating system. Now from this EDR solution, I can run the scan. Now for example, I want to perform the antivirus scan. So I'll just go to security status. I'll just pick the system on which I need to perform the scan. I'll do the scan here. Antivirus full scan, antivirus quick scan, or I want to check what are all the alerts that are being generated. So from directly here, I can get the details. What are all the threats that are being identified. So here we'll discuss on how we need to safeguard, protect the endpoint devices using this EDR solution, so that you will be discussing. So this is about your complete 23 chapters that we will be discussing in the entire course. Now before I take up your questions, there are few more details I need to explain you. Let me share the details. Once you are done with this course, you can apply jobs in various fields. Means this course is mainly designed for job seekers. So once this course is done, you can apply job in various security domains like web security. We have a chapter like web pen testing. So you can apply jobs in web security, VAPT. So this course is mainly related to vulnerability analysis, penetration testing. You can apply jobs in VAPT. You can apply jobs in the SOC. The last five chapters are related to Security Operations Center. You can apply jobs in the SOC. So you can apply jobs in mobile security, so infrastructure security. You can apply jobs in various sections. So this course is mainly for job seekers. So again, if you are looking for job, definitely this course will help you. So how this course will help you out means, so we'll be starting the concept from the scratch. We'll be covering all the fundamental topics, and we'll cover the concept in depth, so that you'll have a strong foundation on the cyber security. So we'll also be covering the advanced tool, not only basic, advanced tool, advanced concepts like Active Directory pen testing, bash scripting, Python programming, pivoting, double pivoting, manual penetration testing. All that will be part of this course, so that you'll get a good knowledge about the course content, everything. So by this you have a good foundation on your cyber security career. Why you need to select hacker school? All the trainers who are working in hacker school are working from a long time. The session is fully interactive, means 70% will be practicals, remaining section will be theoretical. Here you will be learning about industry tools and standards like IBM QRadar, Splunk, OpenEDR, Alien Vault, Nmap, Nessus, OpenVAS, Metasploit Framework, Burp Suite, OAS Zap Tool, SQL Map. So you will be learning about various tools and techniques. The complete duration will be of 300 hours. And with this course, you'll get practice tests, you'll get the challenges, you'll get vulnerable missions, means you'll be learning the concepts via the challenges, where I'll share some vulnerable mission. On that, you will perform the target. You will be preparing, we'll be giving you the guidelines related to mock interviews, how you need to prepare for real interviews. With this course, you'll get internship certificate, which you can utilize in your resumes. So for the duration of this course, and also you'll get student support, means so if you are having any issues related to the activity after the session, so you will be providing support via Discord. You can be part of our Discord channel. If you have any questions, means you can place here. I am having issues starting Parrot Kalibu to have downloaded new. So we'll be providing what to be done. Try to increase RAM, CPU boost, check it once. Okay, I'll try getting the warning and starting the Wireshark. Try using sudo sir. So I didn't appear it to, but it is working. So there you can see we'll be giving you the support via the Discord server. So and also you'll be getting session recording, which you can download and you can use it for your purpose. And so with this course, you will be getting CH certification, Certified Ethical Hacking version 13 certificate is included. So the latest version is Power of AI. So in this course, you will be learning about shell GPTs, okay, artificial intelligence technique also. So in this course, we will be getting the CH certification is also included. So again, if you clear CH certificate means you will get the certificate. Now again, so let me show you exam. Okay. So if you clear this examinations, CH examination, which is of multiple choice, 4 hours exam, 125 questions, passing percentage 60 to 85%. If you clear the exam, you'll get CH certificate, and also there is practical exam. So if you just clear the practical exam, which is of 6 hours, 20 challenges, passing percentage 6 to 80%, you'll get CH practical exam. So you'll get internship certificate. So if you clear the CH means you'll get the CH certificate, and also we'll be providing Hacker School Certified Cyber Security Professional certificate will be provided to you. So these all these certificates will be given in this particular course. Now coming to the system configuration, minimum you need to have Intel i3 5th generation or higher processor with 8 GB RAM. So your system should support virtualization. Means you need to install, if you will be working on the virtual environment like this, you'll install multiple operating system. So again, before you join the session, check your system support virtualization or not. How to check? You can go to task manager. So in that task manager, so in the performance section, if you have CPU, you can see virtualization, whether it is enabled or disabled, you can enable. Just see whether you have virtualization or not. Or else you can just Google it out, you'll get the result. Now coming to the CSP batch schedule. So it will be starting from May 5th. Okay. So your CSP sessions will be starting from May 5th. The session timing is from 10:30 to 1:30. That is on weekdays. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will have the class. The total duration will be of 300 plus hours. So close to 4 to 6 months. Now again, so if you don't think we cannot spend 6 months of time in this course, so there is two set of course. One is either you can go with cyber security professional course. So that is the complete 23 modules. Means whatever I have demonstrated you will cover all the 23 modules included with CH certificate, Hacker School Certified Cyber Security Professional Certificate. With the also you will be getting the internship certificate. Everything will be included. Internship certificate, everything is included. Now again, so you don't want to spend 6 months, you want to complete within 3 months. Now for them, we have cyber security analyst course. Now the course will be of 14 module, means you'll be covering first 14 chapters from introduction to cyber security to bug bounty secret. And again, so that will be getting internship certificate. So CH certificate is not included in this course. According to your requirement, you can choose your course, so you can select on that. So now if you are having any questions related to the entire course, you can get the clarification. So before I take your question. Let me give you the conclusion. So it is an job oriented course. Here you will be covering concepts related to CH version 13 CPEN certified SOC analyst concept. So in this course, in the complete course, which includes internship certificate, followed by the CH certificates and the Hacker School certificate. Again, to get CH certificate, you need to clear the examination. In the first week itself, I'll give you the guidelines related to examination. Now, if you are planning to build your career, if you are planning to start the career in cyber security, means you can easily opt for this course. So with this course, you'll get session recording, support, and also you'll be getting the concept via practical. 70% will be practical. Now again in future, if you have further doubts also, you can just visit our Hacker School website. So there we have the contact numbers placed, and also you can contact the management team. They will give the complete clarification. So now if you have any questions, let me know. Yeah. Audience, let me know if you are having any questions.
No, sir. I am pretty much clear with everything.
Okay, okay. Audience, anyone have any questions? So that's all from my end. Now, if you are having any questions, any clarification is needed, you can just let me know. So thank you everyone who has attended the session. So we'll meet on the sessions. Okay. So now let me know.